Hey y'all, here to vlog about Real Housewives of Atlanta. I believe this is episode either 13 or 14, I don't know. Um, and I also forgot the title of it, but anyway, the one that came on this past Sunday. Let's get right to it. So, it opens up with Portia's mom and her sister, and Portia showing her mom and her sister these dresses that she wants to wear for Cordell's 40th birthday party. Now, the dress that she came out with, it was a blue dress, real frilly, not really frilly, but like a gownish type dress, and it was blue, and the top part had like short sleeve and like sparkles, and then the bottom was just a regular blue. Her mother and her sister's like, because you're not showing, you're not showing cleavage, you're not showing you're sexy or whatever. And I mean, she said she wanted to look like a princess and she wanted it to be formal or whatever, but they were like, And when I was looking at the dress, I was like, neither. Like, if you wanted, I mean, how she said the party was, it was like, she said Harlem Nights. That wasn't the dress for it. That was more like a inaugural dress, prom dress, wedding dress. Not an actual wedding dress, but a dress you would wear to a wedding. So that dress wasn't it. It was like too princessy. It was too formal. So she came out in this next dress, which was like white and sparkly at the top, and at the bottom it had like beige feathers. That dress was okay. It was cute. It was a cute little. It looked like one of those like the can cabaret girl type of dress. That was the kind of dress I like. It was a cute little dress. It was short, showed off her, up here. It looked cute on her. But baby, when she came out in that third dress, I was like, that's the dress. That's the dress you need to wear. It was a long, white, sparkly gown that hugged her curves, and it had like a little beige train behind it. I was like, you better work, Miss Portia, work. As soon as she came out in that dress, I said, you better wear that damn dress to his party. You are stupid if you don't wear that dress to his party. And even her mother and her sister was like, yeah, that's the dress. I was saying the same thing. That dress was beautiful. So I was like, go ahead, Portia. So the next scene we get into is Phaedra and Candy. And they're chit-chatting about the whole Kenya situation. Because the last time they saw each other was when they was at the Shoe Dazzle event. And, Candy was asking her, how do you feel about the whole situation with Kenya? Phaedra's basically like, I'm off that. Like, she ain't hurting nothing I'm doing. She ain't hurting my pockets. At the end of the day, she don't, stop my show or whatever. So, I mean, I didn't really notice it. I think Phaedra held her own when she was at the Shoe Dazzle event and when she was at, when her and Candy was talking about it. But Candy said that she noticed. She was like, right now, Phaedra is just like, whatever, it don't bother me. But when we were at the Shoe Dazzle event, she seemed a bit flustered. I'm like, you would be flustered too if somebody walked in there looking as stupid as Candy, as stupid as Kenya looked, with ass pads and a fishnet bathing suit dress, whatever the hell it was. And I mean, if you want to sit up here and imitate and mock somebody, do it the right way. Because that was all wrong. And it was stupid. But anyway, in my opinion, I don't think Phaedra was flustered or whatever at the Shoe Dazzle event. Phaedra was just like, this confirms what I've been saying all along. That Kenya is a cuckoo bird. And I'm with her. Something is wrong with Kenya. But speaking of which, that's the next scene we go to. So, before I go to the next scene, Phaedra had me in tears when she said, imitation, she said she wants to be like me or whatever. And she said, if you want to be like me, at least, do the part right. She had on some Vicky's Secret coupon panties. I died. I was like, Phaedra, that girl is the queen of taking shots. She is the queen, and she does it so ladylike. Like, she don't have to get down and dirty with it. She just does it so sarcastically. I love it. Now we go to Kenya and her biopsy. So it was a little bit sentimental. She said that she's had 3 biopsies so far, and they found something that was like abnormal in her biopsy. So her aunt is there. Her aunt is telling her, whatever you do when you go in this room, do not look at any of the needles, because the needles are gonna make you even more um anxious. So she's getting her biopsy done, and in her confessional, she's saying that she's like scared or whatever, and she's saying how her health took a backseat to the drama with her and Walter, the drama with her and Phaedra and whatnot. Okay, a piece of me felt bad for her with the whole biopsy, but the rest of me kind of didn't really feel too sympathetic towards her, because the drama with Walter, you created, and the drama with Phaedra, you created. Case in point, you was basically trying to force Walter to marry you. He didn't want to marry you. Like, you ran the man off. And it's like, it didn't even seem like he was interested in you to begin with. It seemed like you was in a relationship by yourself. Because if you have to tell a man to do this, that, and the third for you, he is not into you. Point blank, end the period. And then with the whole Phaedra thing, everybody always misconstrues that conversation that Phaedra had with Kenya. Phaedra didn't say that she wasn't gonna pay Kenya. She just said that Kenya didn't deserve a back end. That doesn't mean she's not gonna pay her. So I feel bad for Kenya with the whole biopsy. But I'm like, you talking about the drama and the this and the that. And this is stuff that you created. This is drama you created. You created drama with Phaedra. You created drama with Portia. You created drama with Walter. You did all of this. So, it's nobody's fault but yours. But anyway, I mean, the biopsy was sentimental, but I just kind of couldn't feel too bad for her. If it's the subject of cancer, I sympathize with a person 100%, but I really couldn't feel that bad for her because of her portrayal on the show. Like, I mean, sorry, I don't know if that makes me a bad person or not. I don't know, but it's just, this whole season you just been a mess, and it's like now it seems like you want sympathy, and like nobody really wants. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Moving on. So we go to the next scene. Portia is looking at the spot to have Cordell's party, and she's with I guess her planner, and her sister and her niece Jaden come. So Portia is like, yeah, I'm so glad to see my niece Jaden. She makes me excited to have my twins soon. But right off the bat, Jaden, first of all, that little girl got a set of lungs on her. She screamed so loud, like she screamed like somebody was murdering her. I'm like, oh my God. And Portia's like, I don't know why she acts like this, because normally babies love me. I'm like, Portia, obviously this little girl ain't feeling you right now. And then she's like, don't bouncing them up and down, calm them down. No, that further annoys them. I'm like, oh my goodness. That little girl had a set of lungs on her. She wasn't feeling Portia at all. She didn't want no parts of Portia. But anyway, so we go to Cynthia and Portia meeting up. And Cynthia is with her assistants or whatever. And obviously they felt some kind of way because they were all supposed to meet at Portia's house. But I guess Portia told them no because Cordell was out of town. And when she's away, and if there's people that Cordell doesn't know, he doesn't, I guess he doesn't allow them in the house or whatever, or him and Portia, I guess that's their rule or whatever. So they felt some kind of way. So when Portia got there, the one assistant, I forgot his name. I know one of them name was Terrence, but the one that got offended the most, he said that strangers call him Mr. Couture. And I'm like, oh, you's a little tight, aren't you? You taking this way too personal, buddy. But, when she was sitting there, it was more so about the fact that she didn't invite them in her house more than it was about the pageant. Because, the guy was like, well, we supposed to have this at your house. And she was like, yeah, my husband is out of town. And if we don't really know you that well, we won't invite you back. I won't invite you into the house when he's not there. So, still, he felt some kind of way. And I mean, that is a weird rule, but at the same time, you have to respect the fact that they're married. That's their house. That's the kind of rules they set. I mean, you don't just want any and everybody walking into your house, especially her husband is a football player. So anybody crazy could figure out your address. I mean, I get it. I get it. You have to consider everything that's going on. So they felt some kind of way. And Cynthia was just feeling some kind of way with Portia. Like, she felt like Portia was too busy. Portia didn't have time to help with the pageant. So, this kind of like, set that off. So then we go to Portia and Cordell discussing the meeting that Portia had with Cynthia and her assistants. And she tells Cordell, I just felt like they were jumping on me because I said that they couldn't come to my house. And Cordell was like, yeah, this is not a place of business. This is our home. And, Portia was like, yeah, and that's what I'm telling them. So, when they were speaking about Portia and Cynthia, Cordell was like, you got to check that. You got to check that. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Now, I kind of didn't like the way he was talking to her. Like, he was talking to her like he was her father and that was his daughter, not like that's his wife. So, I mean, I understand where he was coming from, but how he was saying it, I'd have been like, I'd have gave him the ill. You talking to me, And I've noticed a couple of episodes, Cordell talks to her like a child. He does. So I hope he's not like a controlling type of husband. But Portia, she's so doty-do-do. She probably just run with it. But, he told her to speak with Cynthia. Eventually, she did. So the next scene was Candy meeting up with producers in the studio, and she's letting them know, yeah, I've lost focus because I just moved into a new house. I'm decorating my house, getting my house together, but now that everything is set, in stone, I'm ready to get back in the studio. And they're like, yeah, you are unfocused. You gaining weight. You're glowing. And she was like, yeah, I was told that when you're in love, you glow, you gain weight. But she said something like, I don't think it's anything wrong with, glowing or, gaining weight or anything when you're in love. You're in love, you're happy. And I'm like, I mean, I get that. I mean, I don't get how you gain weight though, but I guess it happens. So basically, Candy is ready to get back in the studio and create more music. So she's trying to get her mind right for that. So now we go to Portia and Cynthia. They check in with each other and they're discussing the meeting that they had. And Portia is like, she's just basically like, I guess she was checking to see how Cynthia felt about everything, and Cynthia is letting her know how she feels. Well, Cynthia is telling her how she feels, but Cynthia finally came to the conclusion that she didn't want Portia helping her with the pageant anymore because Portia seems like preoccupied with everything else, and she just said that she didn't need her help anymore. Portia felt some kind of way because she had her organization, tied to Cynthia's pageant. So she's like, all this hard work I did put into it, just gone unnoticed. So she felt some kind of way. But Cynthia was like, they left on good terms. It wasn't like, bad terms. Like her and Kenya always leaving on bad terms. It was no hard feelings. Just Portia felt a little bit stung, but that's gonna happen. So now we get back to Candy, and she's in the studio, and she's telling them that she wants to go another route with a record and she wants to do a gospel record. So they were like, and I was like, really? But I'm like, you know what? Candy done did a country record. Candy done auto-tuned the shit out of Kim Zolciak and gave Kim Zolciak 2 hits. I think there's no limit to what Candy could do. Next thing you know, Candy gonna want to do a rock song. I think Candy could do it all. She got the goods to do it all. More power to her. The girl hasn't failed yet. She done wrote songs for people and they've gone platinum and multi-platinum and all this other stuff. Go on. Do your thing, Candy. Candy is a hustler. I love Candy. So, she's in the booth and she's singing the song. I guess it was called Prayed Up because she said something like, I stay prayed up. I'm like, all right, girl. All right. So, I'm like, okay, her doing gospel. I thought it was pretty cool. And even though it was gospel, it still had an R&B feel to it. So, I wonder if that's going to come out as a single. Who knows? Now we go to Portia and Cordell at Cordell's party. And, they're at the party and they're having fun. Cynthia and Peter came. Candy and Todd came. And even Walter showed up. But, when Walter showed up, Peter and Cordell were like, where's your people? And Walter's like, I don't know. And then Peter was like, Kenya, where's Kenya? He's like, I don't know who that. I was like, oh, all right, Walter. Okay, Ziva. So, Walter is just like, we're not together anymore. Things fell apart after Anguilla, and, it's whatever. And I'm like, finally. So, Cordell and Peter were like, well, we supposed to be cool or whatever. He said, I really didn't want to put the whole situation on blast. I didn't want it to be anything, messy. So that's why I didn't even say anything. So, they all agreed that they would still be cool. They would still hang out, whatever. So then Cynthia and Portia, I guess, came and sat down. And Cordell was like, well, Cordell was speaking to Cynthia. And then I think Portia came and sat with her. And he was like, why can't y'all just act right? Y'all get on my nerves and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there like, okay. Like, I just be like observing a lot of the stuff that Cordell be saying. And some of the stuff he be saying be like mad unnecessary. And I mean, I'm with Cynthia. Cynthia was like, well, I don't even know why he has an opinion on this situation because it really doesn't have anything to do with him. And it's like, you need to let Portia be a big girl and fight her own battles. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that's why that girl is half brain dead. Like, she act like she's brain dead. But whatever, it still was no mess. It seemed like they still had fun at the party. So that's that. The last scene we get to is Kenya getting her results from her biopsy. And, she was nervous to find out what was going on. Like, she was hoping that she didn't have breast cancer. So her doctor told her that they found like a benign tumor or whatever. A benign cyst, in her breast or whatever. So, that basically means that she's cancer free. She doesn't have anything to worry about. So, I mean, that's good news, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy she didn't have cancer, and I already knew she didn't have cancer, because if she did, she would have mentioned it on Twitter. They would have found it out. They would have put it all over the internet, but she's fine as far as they said. So next episode is going to be like the pageant and everything. And from what it looked like, that pageant is going to be a hot ass mess. Like, it's going to be all over the place, but I can't wait to watch it. So I'll be here next week to vlog about it. I know this vlog is a bit delayed. A lot of stuff is going on Sunday, and I'm also going to have to scale back a little bit on the vlogs because it's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a couple of shows that I'll be missing on the days that I'm supposed to vlog about it. And by the time I go to vlog about it, it's like it's already a new week. So I just gotta manage my time with the show. But it's a couple of shows I'm gonna just stop vlogging about altogether because people don't really watch them. Like, those are shows that I watch personally. Not everybody watches them with me, so I'm gonna just do it like that. Try and keep it consistent throughout the week and see how it goes. So I'm gonna vlog about my wives next. So stay tuned for that one. See you in the next vlog. Peace.